Well, I'm going to try to make more videos. So I really don't have much going on. I'm waiting on the axles. I would start it up, but I've got it just sitting there jacked up. So anyway, I've taken the axles to the Drive Shaft King in Dallas. If anyone's ever used them, they did the drive shaft also for this. So that's a waiting game. The cross member, so the rear end bolts here and sits here, and what it did was it pulled and mushroomed this whole nut area out. So that needs to be strengthened. Ooh, almost got the sunlight kind of just right. So it needs to be strengthened in there. So trying to not make it a really big job. I was thinking of cutting this section out and replacing it with a thicker gauge steel. It's, if you feel in there, it's not very thick, and it's underneath it's got a small plate added to it. But to cut this out and make one nice big solid thick plate, and I can only go so deep because I'm working off of the bolt on that rear end diff mount there, and I've got the nut on it to save my threads. So I guess that would work. I'm a little worried that I need to really beef the whole thing up, make a new one, because of the possible power. I have no idea what it makes, but it's really impressive now. The wreck was due to tuning the new Garrett GTX 35 billet blade ball bearing turbo. I'm tuning that, and I want to say 2 or 3 days I was driving it to work, and I was just passing someone in third gear, put it to the floor doing 70, and it just spun so much more than it ever has that it felt awesome. But I lost control of it. So that's about it. I'm waiting on the axles. A little bit of bad news. They said they're not sure if they can rebuild them because they're so, the year and the rareness, the Z31 turbo axles. Good friend of mine, Nicholas, in California, sent those to me. Sent me some new shafts, but I was just thinking I need to get flares also. See, this one cracked. It actually hit a car, and it came around and slapped right on the wheel and cracked that flare. No body damage, which is surprising. So I need flares, and I kind of want to go bigger, but I don't want to get into the I don't want to change my wheels, Rode RBRs. That's a 17 by 10, and that's a 17.95. Negative 19 offset, negative 13 offset. I would really like a bigger, like a negative 40 offset, you know what I mean? That type of deal. But with this type of horsepower, I hate throwing numbers out there. Every dyno I've ever been on has been a failed attempt, boost leak, or just anything. But if I'm spinning third at 70 at full boost, it spiked to 23 pounds. And again, my boost controller I really only want to run 20, but it's enough horsepower. Wheel spacers, would I be safe running those if I got some extra wide flares? get maybe a spacer so the wheel, these are just normal, you know, just regular sized flares. If I get the extra wide, I think I'm gaining an inch. So I don't know if that tire would look good, you know, just where it is, to where it would tuck up in there nice, but when it's on the ground, it really tucks up in there nice now. So it makes me think, if I'm going to keep those wheels but I want a bigger flare, I should really get a spacer. But is that a wise idea with this much horsepower? I don't plan, it's not really, it's really just a daily driver car, but I like to beat the crap out of it at times. So, you know, I don't know. I may just, you know, if the spacer's an issue, I'm just going to get the same flares. I've actually got a set of the exact same ones. So, anyway, so it's just, I'm just trying to keep the YouTube page updated and whatnot. But that's how she sits. It's got Willwood brakes, which feel just incredible. It's got the larger master out of a 280ZX, you know, so it's, and they feel wonderful just with that. Proportioning valve. I was playing with that a little bit, and it really is pretty cool. Helps you if you hit the brakes hard and say you're locking up the front brakes, but not the back. You can adjust that, or if it's locking the back before the front, you can loosen up or you know, adjust that so that those, you know, that situation doesn't happen to you. So that's kind of cool. The shocks, Tokiko Illumina 5s are also equally very impressive, man. My buddy Chris had those, and to drill holes when I closed my hood for those shocks to go in there. But each adjustment, when I first put them in there, they were on full stiff, and I went down the street, and I was so disappointed because it rode so hard. I thought, this is going to be terrible, you know. But man, I clicked it to full soft, and it was bouncy. So I've got it on, you know, 3-ish now. I've got them front and rear, but I just didn't realize it would make such an impressive difference. I love them. 5 settings. So anyway, as soon as I get those axles, I will really want to get dirty, but I'll put all this back in there. I've got a Z31 Shiro, the 5A 5-speed transmission with a Rb30 bell housing bolted to an Rb30 with a Rb25 head. No modifications, stock pistons, metal head gasket. I've got the whole build in videos, but it makes great power. As soon as I get the axles back, man, bolt it all in, put some fluid in it. I'll probably drive it for a little while because I've missed it so much, and it's cold out, and that's perfect. So I may drive it for a little while. I've got an extra fender, extra headlight bucket, so I may play with welding those together. I may want to put it on the car before I weld it together, fill the hole. I got to drill the holes for the side badge. It's a different year fender, so it doesn't have the holes for the little Datsun. You know, maybe try to get that taken care of. I'm going to try not to drive it too much without getting that fender done, painted. So anyway, there's a nice 10-minute video of me just rambling on. I've had several beers, so hopefully the talk was nice. It's got a limited slip. Z31 R200 also. I feel like I gotta kind of talk or re-mention things, but for people that are looking at it for the first time. So, hope you enjoy me losing my train of thought while I'm talking to you. I watch these videos back and I just shake my head, but I figure, who cares, man? You know, I'm just working on my car, having fun and rambling and whatever. Recommendation on that battery, that's a red top Optima battery. Dude, I've had that sucker for, I don't even know how long. I think since the car's been black. 7, 8 years I've had that battery. Keep a trickle charger on it, that sucker's good. Okay, I do have a, I was going to talk about some power steering. I've got a Subaru power steering rack amongst the pile of junk over there. That's a future project. Going to put power steering in it. Use the Rb30 power steering pump that was on there. Should be really no problem. A little bit of modification to get the rack in there, but it's all online. It's very doable. I've got the tie rod ends are, I can't think off the top of my head. I think a Celica GT or something like that. Maybe it was a Chevy Citation or something. Tie rod ends. Got air conditioning. You know, whatever. It's a 78. With the clone to look like a 72. 4-inch full exhaust. Aero turbine. So there you go. More videos of it coming back to life.